Greetings and welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to episode 446 of the Words About Games podcast, the weekly gaming podcast for Words About Games. I'm one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by the lone wolf themselves. It's Vitz Patel.
Oh, how we doing, everybody? Ames, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I've thrown my shoulder out this week, and I managed to trap a nerve in there. So, but I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow about it, so it's all going to be okay.
Good.
Damn you, exercise.
Damn you, 16s. That's from Friends, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's the silent killer exercerse. Although it wasn't silent when it first happened. It was very loud. Yes.
It reminds me. It reminds me when I put my back out, and like I was on the ground, and like because I was on the ground, it was fine. Like I tried to get up, and I couldn't. And then once I moved to a more appropriate place to like be on my back, I was just waiting to like leave the place. I was at work. I needed to get like a lift. I was like, I'm not gonna make it to like public transport, let alone on and off.
Yes.
Please may someone drive me home. And like because I wasn't in much pain when I was on my back. Like it was we were just having a laugh and a joke around. And I don't know if like other people like thought like, oh, it mustn't be that serious, until I had to get up, and then like someone lifted me off of the ground, and I made noises that like I've only seen on like planet Earth.
Yep.
And then everyone was like, oh no, this is serious.
People just walking in. Oh, is Amy doing a bit again? Oh wait, no, actually. It's going really well. For those who've been following me over on Bluesky, through mightily compressed videos, you'll be seeing the progress I'm making in Elden Ring, or maybe not, depending on how pixelated the final videos are. But the Violent Gargoyles met their demise recently, so that was good. And it actually popped a trophy because I didn't do that in my first playthrough. I must have run away bravely. And then, so I say there's Beyonce, my character, the Mimic Tier, and then I summoned a Melina to help me with the fight against Morgoth, the Omen King. And we whipped his bitch ass as well. So now we're in the mountaintop of the Giants, getting ready to set fire to the Erd Tree. Yeah, so I'm surprised at how fast I'm going through the game. And I think it's to what we spoke about before kind of thing. It's because the game makes you physically explore, you remember where everything is rather than just following like a pin on a map. And so like I still have recollection of, if I go outside Volcano Manor, I can get the Crimson Amber Medallion +1 and stuff like that in there. And so there's a few bits and pieces like that, but I am exploring places that I've never been before as well. So there's still that fresh sense of the game as well, because I'm leaning into like a Dex and Bleed build. I'm finding much more utility in the game than the pure strength Guts Greatsword thing that I had rocking the first time around. So I still need to do most of Caelid in terms of exploring and going for dungeons and stuff like that, but that place is still scary to me. So we're leaving that for the time being.
Hey, fair enough. I don't know. I can't remember my progression. I know I definitely like did Caelid before. I think I did Caelid before I did the capital C. The second time. I think the first time as well. The first time was a couple of years ago. I don't really remember. And I feel you about like knowing where stuff is, but exploring new stuff. Like when I played the game last year, like the whole Frenzied Village, like with the tower with the eye of Sauron on top of it and stuff. I didn't even know it was there. Like the first time I did it, I think I just ran straight past all of the people shooting at you with like the catapults and stuff, and went in the tunnel and went up, and then like explored the thing. Whereas this time I used the lift, and I just happened to be like a little look out the door, and I was like, "Is that a path over there?" And then, holy fuck, there's this whole place I didn't even know was here. Shit.
Yeah.
Why is everything burning?
No, it's still an incredible game, and for like this is my first FromSoft title kind of thing, and I don't think I'm quite ready to say, oh, I'm ready to jump into the other experiences as well. But yeah, for the moment, still enjoying life with Elden Ring.
That's fair. I mean, it'd be weird if you were like, I'm gonna play Dark Souls. It's like, but you haven't finished Elden Ring yet.
I finished it once already. Yeah, so because I was doing Lady Rani's quest, I like sprinted through Caelid aboard Torrent and just made for like headed for Castle Redmane because I knew I needed to the festival. And yeah, so that was awesome. And yeah, learning how to parry. So I've got that in my tool belt now. So yeah, with Crucible Knights, I know I struggled against them previously, but now I got them.
Fuck you, motherfuckers.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that you've learned how to parry, you now have a skill in your arsenal that I do not possess. Like,
Well, the carrion retaliation that you can get in Carrion Manor from the vendor at the top there, that really helps. I think it increases the window that you have to parry. So you still need like the confidence and the belief that this is going to work, because if it doesn't, you get hurt.
yeah, it's like I choose to roll out of the way. Like, what you do is far more badass because you choose to stand in front of the giant axe and let it hit you.
It doesn't always work, but when it does, it is super satisfying.
Whereas I'm just like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm already halfway across the arena. Like, no, thank you. Let me get out of here.
Those runes, you can keep them. That's fine. I don't need them. I'll go here and get some more.
I've got a hero's rune in my pocket. It's fine. I'll just keep that instead. No, it's cool.
Yeah, but cool. There's still surprises to find, like when you're running around, like going into the capital city for the first time, and you go up that hill, and Margaret pops up again, and then has these new lines of dialogue.
I know. My first playthrough, I didn't come up from the bottom because if you come up from the bottom, you get to the grace first, and then you go beyond the grace, and then he pops out. Whereas, like, I came from the left. So I'd been to the
like you
village.
Go past the village with all the dancing people.
Yeah. And then I came through the archway, and then he was just like, "Remember me, motherfucker?" And I was just like, "Oh God, not again!"
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a game.
Yeah, and it's such a great game. Like, I mean, I made a video about it. Like, most likely.
Well, yeah, and game Moody will be experiencing it for the very first time as part of our charity milestone that we're doing. So, dear listeners, we're raising money for Safe in Our World this year, and if we get to the requisite milestone, Moody will be experiencing Elden Ring. And he will become a foul tarnished.
He will. And you know how, like, I was like trepidatious about, like, oh, I want to make sure he has, like, you know, as smooth as entry as possible into Elden Ring. That was before, like, I watched him massacre our entire Pokemon team in Pokemon Ruby on Sunday night. Now, Saturday night. Now I don't care. Like, let him fuck him. Everybody died.
Oh, it's a rite of passage to come up to the tree sentinel and you think, ooh, friend shaped as an NPC. I've just spoken to an NPC. He seems a bit weird, but you know, he's got a mask on. Let's go speak to another friend.
My like the Dark Souls instincts kicked in for me. I was like, that one's moving. That's not that's not a friend. Let's jump down here. Oh no, crabs. Why is everything trying to kill me? But
there's still like things which I'm learning about, and obviously like there's resources like Vatividia teaching everybody all kinds of different stuff. Like with the crystal darts, if you throw them enough at enemies, they'll go into like a frenzy state and just attack the nearest thing. So if you're in a dungeon with two bosses, you throw as many darts as you can at one boss, and then they'll just kill the nearest thing to them, which happens to be the other boss, and it just makes fights so much easier. Exactly.
That's fair. I didn't actually know that. That's cool. I try to avoid
still so much
videos.
Learning.
Like, so I've never really been on Vatividia's channel. Like, I like, even if I get like the quote unquote wrong answers, even though there's no wrong answers. Like, I like the thing of like you have to kind of like piece the story together.
Sure.
In any
your
Souls
interpretation.
game. Yeah. It's like, you know, based on the information. Yeah, which means you might not get all of the information, but that's cool. Like as long as I'm applying like what I know to what I find and then I'm just like, well, that's fascinating. Maybe this means this, or like. So I've never really fucked with like lore videos and stuff. I didn't know VatiVidya did like other types of videos.
Well, those are the ones I dipped into first, kind of thing. In terms of, I think he only uploaded this particular video like 2 months ago about 15 tips that people didn't know about, and I was like, "Oh, let's dip in and see what was up." So yeah,
15 things people didn't know about Elden Ring, and it's not clickbait because I mentioned I probably read that article. 15 things you didn't know about Elden Ring. If you sit down at a site of grace, you can spend your runes and level up. I'm like, oh, fuck off.
That's it. You don't always have to wait for Melon to show up.
Close tab.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but yeah, Moody, if you're still watching this, I just want you to know, and I know you're watching this. I am still mad about Pokemon. I can't believe.
It seems that many Pokemon Let's Plays on the internet seems to be going down the chaotic route.
I mean, I don't understand what's going on or the rules of like what he's doing, because like it's a Nuzlocke, whatever that means. Like, he keeps saying he wants me to do one, and I'm like, bro, I've played one Pokemon. I don't even understand how the type matchups work for all the way. Like, so I'm just kind of like there for the vibes and the ride, like, you know what I mean. And every now and again, I get to tell him to catch a Pokemon or leave a Pokemon. But because he's giving me that responsibility, I get attached to the Pokemon that he catches, and then they faint. And then he's like, well, that means they're dead. They're going in the box, and we can't. And I'm just like, well, can we not get another one? It was like, I've seen like 15 of them. And then he's like, no, you can't get another one. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't get another one? When my budgie died when I was a kid, we went and got another budgie.
No, that was it. You had one. That was your one.
It's like, that's not how life works. And then I'm like, this is harsher than Dark Souls.
Abe, I don't know what to tell you. These kids that get thrown out of the house at 10 years old, and they're told just to figure it out.
I don't know if I like Pokemon anymore. Like, it's not fair. I don't like it. But yeah, no. I mean, it's fun doing the streams. We're doing a stream on Sunday.
We are. Yeah.
Of Lethal Company. I told you my idea, right? For another stream, the Resident Evil.
Yes, you did.
With special settings stream. I was just like, I don't know, this isn't a good idea. Like, oh, no, it's not. Looking forward to debuting that at some point. But
absolutely,
yeah, cool.
And dear listeners, we are so close to our first milestone of individually ranking all the Mass Effect characters. Which is going to be a fun old time with our new and improved ranking system, where there will be. Let's go with fewer arguments.
I'll definitely still be arguments, because I feel like I'll say something and Moody will be like, "What?" and I'll be like,
"Oh yeah, how dare you? If we don't put Tali at the top of both our lists, then he's kicking off."
He already kicked off, because like he read my notes on my Mass Effect video, and I said in Mass Effect 1, I was like, Tali talks too much. And she doesn't have very much interesting to say, and I was like, but she's much better in the next games. But like, all Moody saw was that first part, or I was like, she's boring.
Moody just read Tali's prototype Aloy, and then that was it. He lost it.
Like, Rex is better. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, no, like, it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
We won't have to wait until he gets back. He said he might try and work something out to do a Pokemon stream, like more Pokemon streams, like while he's like taking a break from the podcast and stuff. So I took that information and I said, no thanks. In my head, I said, no thanks, but that means if we hit the milestone,
yeah, his setup is created, right?
we'll be able to get him for the milestone stream.
Yeah,
I need to get to the second milestone as fast as possible. Thank you. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, for those who aren't aware, the second milestone is that yours truly gets to play through Alien Isolation for the very first time. And I don't do well with scary games. And from what I'm aware of, that is a scary-ass game. One of the scariest, as it turns out.
Supposedly.
Not from necessarily like a gore and a point of view, but just a sheer, oh my god, I cannot physically move. I am so damn scared.
Psychologically.
Yes.
Yes. Gets in your head. Messes with you.
Because apparently there's not enough trauma in my life already, so... Let's throw a bit more on there.
I watched an speaking of trauma, I watched an Ecdysis Law video. Ecdysis is a speedrunner I've followed for years. He started a law channel, and one of his videos, the video that I watched was, like, there's this question that floats around on the internet every now and again. Is like, would you rather go to Raccoon City or Silent Hill? Like, if it was one or the other. And he was just like, he even opens the video saying, do not choose Raccoon City, you will die. Because like Silent Hill is like your trauma. It was actually a really nice video, because it was like Silent Hill is based on your trauma. You can overcome your trauma. Silent Hill isn't necessarily trying to kill you, whereas Raccoon City, like, Jill Valentine was an ex-member of Delta Force, and she barely survived it.
If I remember rightly, they nuked that city in the end.
And yeah, you only have a week from outbreak to being nuked by the government. So good luck. It was a cool video. I liked it a lot.
Oh
yeah. But yeah, speaking of cool videos, should we do a little transition?
Yeah, because people have seen the thumbnail and they're really excited.
They're probably like, "Shut the fuck up! What are you talking about Silent Hill for?"
Yeah.
Oh, my bitch, you never met me. Clearly, number one. And number two, yeah, you're probably here for the Nintendo stuff. Which means now is the perfect time to tell you there are timestamps in the description wherever you choose to watch this video, so you can skip to any part of the podcast that you wish to watch. I don't know if this is going to be our only topic this week or not. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. Like, this is like the biggest thing in years, I would say, like news-wise, like gaming-wise, like. So
I think something that's at least pertinent to all three of the regular hosts of the podcast and their interest in terms of we've all got.
What do you mean?
All got attachment.
Nintendo, me, Nintendo. There's no sign that I would like Nintendo anywhere in this frame.
Not once, no.
Not if I move my head and show all of my Wii games, my Wii games.
Exactly.
My GameCube's games below it, but.
So the fine folks over at Nintendo, they decided to hold their long-awaited Nintendo Direct for the reveal and deep dive of the Switch 2. Top-level thoughts. I thought we were going to get an evolution of the snap, whether it was going to be a clap, like a double snap or anything like that. It seems to be the same sound as before, so that was disappointing on my side. No, seriously, the system itself looks really, really interesting. A huge leap from what is currently available. I don't think that was particularly hard, but it seems that through some wizardry with DLSS and so on and so forth, they're able to at least utilize modern technology in terms of what TVs are putting out, and with 4K output and higher refresh rates in handheld mode, and it just seems to be an very much evolution rather than revolution. But the Switch sold like hotcakes. It's jonesing to be the highest selling system ever, and why would you mess with the recipe that works for you, kind of thing. And the actual Direct itself went by at a really fast rate for me. That's mostly because they decided to cram 52 games in like a 1.6 second block. It's a blink if you miss it kind of thing. But there's some very exciting aspects of the Switch 2, and there are some less exciting aspects, which I'm sure we'll get to as well.
Yeah, so I've got the running order of the Direct in front of us with notes, and then I've got all of the post-Direct information. We are recording this on Thursday, so we haven't seen anything beyond like Thursday.
Yes.
In case something comes out between now and the recording and the podcast coming out. I know there's Tree Live events that are happening. We haven't seen those because we're not time travelers. So like we're working off of the information that is available roughly 24 hours after the Direct.
Yeah, this is dawn of the second day.
Yeah, none of us went to the Switch press promo thing.
Yeah, none of us got to New York.
7 million Bluesky posts. I had fucking closed Bluesky. I was just like, everybody's fucking playing fucking Donkey Kong. Never seen so much Donkey Kong in my life.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so we'll do top level thoughts like you've just done. I'll do mine, and then I'll start going through like each
Hell yeah.
part of the direct. Yeah. So my top level thoughts about the Switch 2 direct were the direct itself. I really enjoyed. Like I really enjoyed the 60 minutes that I had watching it in the most suboptimal way possible on my phone. Lying over there, like just after a nap, and being like,
As Miyamoto intended.
as Miyazaki praised the sun, as Miyazaki intended. But yeah, no, it was like, and then like I went straight from that to like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be meeting Ryan. We're playing Sea of Thieves, so I never had a chance to like investigate, like go online, see even just see what other people are saying, which I do less and less these days because like that old meme of like you enjoy something more when there's not a bitch on your ear telling you it sucks.
Yes.
But like not going on any websites to see any more like disseminated information. It was just literally like Nintendo Direct, Sea of Thieves for 4 hours, read a book, go to sleep. And so I only saw the other stuff that we're going to talk about the next morning, and that did sour me on.
Yes.
Not necessarily on the Direct itself. Like I think the Direct was I think it was one of the best showcases of video games I've seen for a while.
I agree with you there, yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll get into. But on the I guess on the concept of the Switch 2 itself, sort of like what it's going to offer going forward. So it is a bit of a like there's two Amy's here. There's the Amy that watched the Direct, and then there's the Amy that's been burdened with too much knowledge.
Yes, Amy that's read the press release that they shipped afterwards.
There's pre-pirate Amy and there's post-pirate Amy. If we want to go by that round. But yeah, no, congratulations to everybody who was involved in the making of the Direct. I think you did a wonderful job.
Yes.
It was a really good presentation. That I enjoyed greatly. So those are my top level thoughts. You gave your top level thoughts first.
I did.
You might not think in chat, but it's been a little while. Don't know if you noticed the gym coat or the darkness or all of the mess that I've accidentally left in the background of the frame when some shit's gone down. So let's get into it. I've got everything listed up here. I'll do the rundown since I wrote most of these notes, and it would be weird to hear you reading my notes. I don't know.
That's it.
Like my voice coming out of your. It'd be weird. So they started strong with Mario Kart World, which was Mario Kart 9. We got a title for it, which we didn't have before. Yes. It's a launch title for Switch 2. It has a Grand Prix mode. Or a Grand Prix mode, as I used to call it when I was a child watching Formula 1. And the big gimmick of the Grand Prix mode is it's 24-player racing, and you between the different courses, you drive to the next course.
Like a rally.
Like a rally. You've got Knockout Tour mode, which has you racing across multiple courses back to back to back to back. And every time you hit a checkpoint, you need to be above a certain placement threshold or you get eliminated. And then there's free roam mode, which is free roam driving and exploration across the entire Mario Kart world. Things that I noticed in the trailer, there was rail grinding, there was wall jumping, and there seemed to be consumable items that change your costume, which seems like fun.
Yes.
And I imagine we're going to learn a whole lot more because there's a Mario Kart World Direct on April 17th.
Yeah, absolutely. So they did the damn thing. For some reason, I didn't think Mario Kart World would be the name, but it makes so much sense given that they've essentially made Forza Horizon but made it Mario Kart. And they've added possibly everybody's favorite mode in every racing game, arcade-wise, is elimination, where you're in a race, and if you're last, then your ass is done, kind of thing.
Your ass is grass.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so from the preview event that we've seen plenty of people go to out in New York City, and people have had hands-on time with Mario Kart. They got to play some of the like A Grand Prix, and then got to do Knockout Tour, which is this elimination mode. And the game looks absolutely phenomenal. And with the new hardware of the Switch 2, they were playing in 4K 60, and I think for me Mario Kart 8 is one of the best looking games, period. And that's in spite of the hardware it was running on, in terms of it was a perfect marriage of the art style masking over the limitations of the hardware, but it still looked and ran butter smooth, and it looked amazing. And I think they've kind of one up themselves here as well, as a cheeky Mario pun there. Yeah, this game looks amazing, and for the Forza Horizon element of this, in terms of the free roam, I think that's where you're going to be finding all of these costumes, which you'll change into. Whether they'll have any gameplay mechanics in terms of, say, if you're driving as Princess Peach and now you have a sheriff costume, what does that do? Does that give you a gun to fire, or what? Like a lasso to
I
like
would say everybody
rip
should give
people's?
Princess Peach a gun.
Yes, that's it. And yeah, this game looks amazing, and it's definitely the title I've put the most amount of hours to on my Switch, and I can see myself doing the same thing again. We'll get into some of the reasons why that not might be at launch later on. But yeah, this game looks amazing. 24 players on a single track looks insane. I will say the tracks look a lot wider this time, probably to facilitate that. And it is a bit more hectic in terms of there's so much going on. There's so many coins in play. You can collect up to 20 coins now in order to give you a speed boost, and item boxes refresh a lot more faster. And yeah, it's going to be chaos, and I think it's going to be some of the best fun people have multiplayer wise in terms of doing these knockout races and trying to find the shells and the items that you need to get yourself ahead of whatever threshold is before the next stage of the event. So for the ones that I've seen, the knockout tour is split over 6 stages, as we'll say, all the 6 laps, but it's a linear course, so you'll go from one biome into the next kind of thing, and there'll be 6 elements of you being knocked out. So there's that as well. And one of the things I've also picked up on is in Mario Kart 8, you used to pick your various different components of your kart. So you pick your wheels, your chassis, and then your glider kind of thing. There doesn't seem to be any of that this time around. You have a type of kart that you pick, and then that's it. You don't necessarily get to mess with it, which I think will streamline a lot of the process and get rid of a lot of the kind of meta gameplay that was going on in terms of, oh, you need a baby buggy with these wheels and this glider, and we'll do none of that. It's just pure fun, and there'll be balance throughout. And there's so many characters, and it's all Mario based. So I know there were some circles which are thinking, oh, what if we get more Nintendo characters thrown in here?
Nintendo Kart.
Exactly. But yeah, the Moo from Moo Ranch, they're out here and they're driving, and one of the costume Toad has is a burger hat, which seems a bit insensitive when Moo's on the course, but hey, what are you going to do?
Just try and pass like.
Exactly. That's a new Luigi game that you guys has.
It's the air of Toad.
But yeah, there's some phenomenal touches in here. So just in terms of the kart design, and on like Waluigi's motorcycle, instead of saying Luigi Motors on the tire, there's a kind of chalk scratch line of him putting Waluigi's tires. And yeah, there's going to be all these little bits of detail in there, which I can't wait to get into.
You said meta before. That's one of my trigger words from my Overwatch days. Oh, you shouldn't be picking this. I'll pick the characters I can play. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
No, like when they talked about Mario Kart 9, when we talked about Mario Kart 9, like I did ask the question of like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe feels like the ultimate Mario Kart experience with like the number of courses they've added over 2 console generations. I think people forget that sometimes that it was a Wii U game.
Yeah.
It's like, where do they go from here? And like, I think a reasonable response to that was Nintendo Kart, which even I was saying like, hey, maybe they'll do a Nintendo Kart. But it seems like they've really put a lot of thought into how do we like make another Mario Kart after making something that feels so definitive. And it's like it's not just like, hey, we made an open world, but like just looking from the trailer and some of the previews, like it feels like they've put a lot of thought into the world, not just gone and thrown it in because it's like it's big. It's technically a bigger game now.
Yes.
Which I like, and Nintendo do that quite well. I feel like when they expand their games, it's like usually with some forethought or like some actual thought into it. I do like
The shortcut to that statement is they've Breath of the Wild it, but I think it's so much more than that in this instance, just in terms of the actual utility you're going to have just by having wider tracks and
the strats.
Exactly the strats and finding the shortcuts and things and how that's going to play out. And there's so much more enemies going on in terms of whether it's chain chomps rolling around the stage or picking up items which turn various other races into traditional Mario enemies, and how that will affect gameplay and stuff like that. There's so much to dive into here.
Turning Bowser into a Goomba would be especially funny.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like I haven't played a lot of Mario Kart 8 on the Switch. I played a ton of it on the Wii U because I'm just a hipster like that.
Of course.
I own the DLC. I actually bought the DLC.
Got that Mercedes car. Yeah.
With the Zelda and the Animal Crossing. I like if I don't know if I can access that if I buy another Wii U. I don't think that's how Nintendo things work, but no, like I was like it was like a moment of like sitting up and taking notes and being like, oh, like Mario Kart, cool, like, and it did seem like it could be quite a cool, fun little game, fun big game.
Definitely.
One of my favorite ways to experience Mario Kart recently has been through Games Done Quick. They do showcases of how like they do all of the like shortcuts and do the tracks as fast as possible. And I'm thinking of like this new open world like setting and just being like, damn, that's gonna be cracked.
Yeah, definitely.
When they find all that stuff. But speaking of cracked, C does not stand for cracked. Today, there's a C button. On the controller, which they teased earlier this week, and now they've shown us exactly what it does. And I'm not going to lie, when they kept calling it the C button, I had a little chuckle, especially after Metroid Prime's doors last week.
How many men will find it?
Gamers aren't going to be able to find this button now.
Exactly.
But the C button is party chat with a dedicated button, and I'm just going to get it out of the joke out of the way right now. Wow, I can't believe Nintendo invented party chat, and it's out of my system. There will be a camera attachment which can be used for video chat. There's a microphone built into the Switch console itself, which intelligently filters out background noise and boosts the volume of voices speaking. So when your mom is shouting at you to clean your room, like I imagine that will come through crystal clear. But if she's just doing the vacuuming outside your room, you shouldn't come through at all. You can share your game stream via the party chat boxes. And I wrote a note here to remind myself of the frame rate. It seemed choppy at best.
It really did.
You could also do this while playing different games. So if it was playing Mario Kart World and I was playing Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, we could still party chat. We could still see each other's gameplay. Although this also doesn't improve the frame rate. Seriously, it looks like Pokemon Violet.
It really does.
The camera will be available on Switch to your launch day. Game chat will be free until March 2026, but a Switch Online membership will be required to use it beyond this, which I believe marks the first time a button on a controller costs money to use.
Yeah, there is that.
And Game Chat also supports parental controls. That cute little Bowser Jr. video they showed.
Absolutely. It's going to be vitally important for that, because we all remember the horror stories of those who played Uno on Xbox and the various vulgarities people saw on there. Yeah, something I saw today is that Nintendo have already started putting out the license to create kind of other cameras. So the camera, the USB-C port camera that this plugs into. Yes.
Yes, I saw that.
So I think Hori is producing that, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more of those as well. But whilst Nintendo are selling their own camera, they have confirmed that any USB-C camera will work in that. So if you wanted to do that, that's fine. On the actual Direct itself, essentially Nintendo made Discord again.
Yep.
Yeah, and
basically
on the camera feeds, it's doing some green screen effect to kind of cut out your profile and your portrait kind of thing and apply it to the game. And in some instances, it's going to be fed into the game itself. So in Mario Party Jamboree, that's going to be included as well. I'll be interested to see how robust the parental controls are, and then if other console manufacturers will take those lessons on board. Because I think if anyone's going to do it right, Nintendo
Wait, it
will.
looks like I'm flipping you off. Sorry. Fingers crossed is what I was actually
Yes,
thinking. Fuck you,
absolutely.
mom. I'll do what I want.
But
Damn.
yeah, for all of the things the C button could be, uh, you know, Discord is one of them apparently.
C stands for Discord. I mean, I like this. Like they like. I think we gave them a lot of shit, and rightfully so, for the way like all of this was handled on the original Switch.
How you needed a separate app on your phone in order to use
Yes.
Switch.
And you couldn't connect a headset to the device. You had to connect it to your phone. It was a whole thing. And like, I think they've taken those lessons and really learned from them. I think one thing that struck me while I was watching this direct and remembering all of the stuff we talked about last week, because we talked a little bit about our expectations of what we might see this week. And like, one thing I think I didn't take into consideration at all leading into this direct was that the Switch was a rushed console. Like, it totally like skipped my mind that like, oh, of course they weren't planning on launching a console in 2017. They were just trying to get one out as fast as possible because the Wii was dead on arrival. Even though it was a great console, and you're all wrong, sorry. But the but like, yeah, it's like when I was talking about things like, you know, features that were missing from the Switch, it's like that was probably planned, but then life got in the way, not found a way. This isn't Jeff Goldblum. But also like when I was thinking about like games and stuff, it's like I was blown away by the number of games that we'll talk about in a bit. And then it hit me halfway through. I was like, of course it didn't have any games. They were like 2 years early to market. But this is a really cool feature. Like, it's Nintendo learning. It's my favorite kind of Nintendo. It's Nintendo learning, but in their own weird Nintendo way.
Yes.
Where they talk like Discord is like some groundbreaking thing that they've just discovered.
No, that's it. And you've got to consider the audience that were watching this in terms of, I'd like to imagine that many of the families who are interested in getting a Switch, their only console is the original Switch kind of thing. And if they're stepping up, and they may not be as glued into the video game space as we are kind of thing, to say that, you know, Discord is a thing and voice chat been done on other systems for many years at this point, but this might be a cool thing. And it's kind of Nintendo wishing they had this all down, especially at the height of the pandemic and during lockdown and stuff, in terms of everybody stuck at home and bringing people together and all the rest of it. And yeah, like I said, I'm happy their parental controls are there, and I think the uptake of this system is going to be great for that particular audience. I think the rest of us are still going to use the likes of Discord and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Like, I'm not going to ditch
communicate,
Discord. Yeah, I'm not going to. I used it last night.
But
playing
Discord,
Sea of
your
Thieves.
days are numbered. If you start putting any shenanigans,
I mean, I
I
will.
opened Discord up today. It showed up an ad for this random thing, and then when you hover over it, there's a like a cross and didn't ask, and I hit that shit straight away. And
Yeah, I got one of those when I was talking to Ryan last night. It was weird. I think it was the song he was listening to. As a YouTube video. It was very strange. The only thing I will say about Party Chat is make it free. Like, don't when it comes around to March next year, like, don't be like, we're going to lock it behind the paywall. Like, I know like Switch Online is inexpensive in comparison to like other online services, but bro, it's Party Chat. Like, that shit's free everywhere.
It sure is. I can kind of see that logic in terms of, in order to use Party Chat, you will need to be playing online. Therefore, you'll need a subscription to the online service.
Not necessarily.
In order to use
like,
it.
I get it if we're playing Mario Kart World, or like, you know, like if you're playing Mario Kart and playing like Splatoon, let's say.
Yeah.
But like, if you're playing a single player game and I'm playing a single player game, I should be able to hit the the C button. And we should be able to chat together, like, for
This
free.
is true.
Yeah. Like, I can do that
It's
on
like-
PlayStation, right? Like,
100%. We don't need to subscribe to PS Plus in order to do that. But yeah.
fucking, I'm never going to be able to keep a straight face calling it the C button for the next however many years. It's a thing. They also showed off Game Share, and this is Switch 2 allowing local and online multiplayer between consoles if only one person owns the game. This is only going to be available via compatible games via a software update. So they showed like an image with games The games that were shown in the image were Captain Toad, Mario 3D World, 51 Clubhouse Games Worldwide Classic, Super Mario Odyssey, and Big Brain Academy Brain vs. Brain. This is also going to be planned for Switch 2 exclusive games. That was their wording, not mine. I don't know if that means all Switch 2 exclusive games or selected Switch 2 exclusive games.
I imagine selected, but obviously time will tell. I think this is really, really cool in terms of, you're going out to see friends, you're meeting up with them at a convention and whatnot. You want to get a quick game of Mario Kart in, but only one of you has a copy of Mario Kart. Then essentially you can just beam it to every other system. In the Direct itself, they showed a maximum of 4 systems it being beamed to. Whether that's a limit or not, I'm sure we'll find out in due course. And it'll be cool that it's not just Switch 1 games. There are going to be some Switch 2 exclusive games that work as well. One would imagine that you'd need a Switch, fellow Switch 2 devices in order to run those, rather than.
I'm sorry, I can't let you do that. I'm trying to run,
exactly.
I'm trying to run a Switch on a Switch 1 with 4K 120 frames per second.
But this is the promise of It Takes Two and Split Fiction and all of Hazelight's titles in terms of coming to life. I think this is one of the best things that Nintendo spoke about.
Well, even though my favorite games on Switch are like single player games like Tears of the Kingdom, Octopath Traveler 2, and games like that, like it is a group oriented thing, right? It is like a multiplayer oriented like device. And like I think this is just a great way to like reinforce that, right? Like if Fitz, let's do a charity fundraiser stream where we play Switch Sports Soccer. And you're like, but I don't have the game, and I'm like, but I have the game.
Yeah.
Then we can still do that. You know what I mean? That's cool. I like that. Like Steam does something similar. Hopefully this works a little differently to Steam because like it's a streaming situation. I remember I had Monster Prom 3 and Keith didn't, or vice versa. Keith had it and I didn't. And he like streamed the game to me. And it wasn't the best because it's like the whole streaming thing, but like it is a great feature. I really like it.
Yeah, and it, at least on the Direct, and I'm reading your notes again, but it might be different. I might have this wrong, but it seems to be only for local in terms of you need to be in the vicinity with whoever Switch you're beaming this to. So even if it is streaming. Then
they did say online. So the way I put these notes together was I literally just watched the Direct and like typed and like paused and typed and paused and typed and I did originally put local multiplayer and then I went back to watch it. Like I like double checked myself where I was like, did they say online? And there was a bit where they were like online and I was like, cool. Welcome to the 21st century, Nintendo. Welcome to the 20th century.
There you go.
Next up, we got the big rundown of all of the Switch 2 specs and stats. Here it goes. Bigger screen, same thickness. And a C button. It's a 7.9-inch screen versus a 6.2-inch screen. The Switch 2 itself will be the same thickness as the Switch 1. There's an HD 1080p display in handheld mode with 120 frames per second. Did not see that coming.
Blew me away.
And HDR support. The Joy-Con 2s attach magnetically, which I've run, thank God. I hate the rails on the Switch. It is one of my least favorite features of the console. I fucking hate them. And in weird little things Amy noticed, I like that the Switch 2 logo, when it does the thing, it goes like that. It snaps together now.
Yes.
Instead of doing the click, it like snaps. I like that. It's good. That was a good touch. It's got larger SL and SR buttons, which are the ones where you turn the Joy-Con on its side, and it's got the button on the top. It's like the shoulder button. It also has larger analog sticks. The mouse controls were finally confirmed. It's both Joy-Cons at once. We'll talk more about that later. Improved speakers with 3D audio, a much better backstand. Oh my god! My favorite new hardware feature, dual USB-C ports on the top and the bottom. Like when I try to play this in a hotel and keep it like charged, nightmare scenario. It's got a thing on the top now. Perfect. It has 256 gigabyte internal storage, which is 8 times the storage of a Switch 1. An improved dock, and I paused and enhanced and zoomed in, and I was like, it's got an Ethernet port this time.
Yes. No dongle required.
Big deal for me, that one. I didn't upgrade my Switch when the OLED came out, but I upgraded the dock because I wanted the Ethernet port. And lastly, probably the biggest one for most people, although not for me because I'm a weirdo, 4K resolution in dock mode with a capped 60 frames per second.
Absolutely. The other thing I want to mention on the improved dock is now has an internal fan, which is going to keep your system cool as well when it's presumably busting the gut trying to upscale all these games to
When it's
4K
trying to
resolution.
run Pokemon Violet in 4K at
Exactly.
20 frames per second.
Absolutely. All these bullet points are very much welcome. When I get around to getting new glasses and they're going to be bigger, I am going to use bigger screen, same thickness when it comes to my glasses. But the screen itself, I know people were umming and ahhing about whether it's going to be an OLED. I imagine that's coming down the line itself, but from all accounts, it looks to be a perfectly serviceable screen, and LCD technology has improved vastly over the display that they used many years ago for the original Switch.
Big time.
HDR is going to do a lot in terms of bringing that image quality up as well and making colors more vibrant and the contrast and what have you. Looking forward to getting hands-on with the larger Joy-Cons. I like the fact that you don't need to slide an additional rail on top of the Joy-Con itself to use it.
You didn't, because I never.
You technically
did that.
didn't.
You didn't, because
Yeah.
I never actually used that rail. I didn't realize what it was for a long time. I thought it was just a wrist strap, and I was like, I don't need a wrist strap. I'm not playing Wii Sports. Like,
Not fucking it
and then
across
someone pointed out it's got the thing on the top, and I was like, oh, oops.
The mouse controls looked very interesting, although I'm not sure how much use case that's going to get for me in terms of Metro Prime 4 we're going to get to later on. That, but you can essentially use one Joy-Con as the analog stick to move, and then with the mouse on the other side.
Analog stick. Like a hybrid thing.
But the interesting thing about that is you don't necessarily have to dip into the settings in order to switch between them. All you have to do is twist the Joy-Con, and then it knows, oh, this is mouse mode now. They want to lock in and
it's probably got something to do with the fact that it has a magnet.
Yes.
I imagine.
But
I don't know.
for me, most of my pretty much all of my playtime with the Switch, providing it's not being taken on the road, is with the Pro Controller anyway. So, but if it's going to allow, absolutely, if it's going to allow more games which serve a mouse, like a keyboard and mouse traditional setup to be used, and then being ported over to the Switch, then I'm more than happy for that to be a thing. The backstand seems to be an improvement on the OLED model, from what I can tell. So on the original Switch that I have, the backstand, and this Ames, is woeful in terms of it's just a little kickstand, and it shows obviously the points of articulation that this has as well, and it can only be a good thing as well. The internal storage is obviously a huge upgrade. There'll be games these days only getting larger and larger, it seems. Absolutely. There is a small caveat that the SD cards that you used for expansion in the original Switch won't work on the Switch 2, for there's a new Express SD card format that they're using. But yeah, hopefully those will start to come down in price as well. And
they're not much more expensive than the normal SD cards that the Switch would have used at those volumes, at those sizes. I think the difference is like a tenner, which there is a price difference. I'm not going to deny that, but
no, I think it's just a clear line of communication that they need for prospective parents buying this for their kids and just thinking, oh, they've already got a Switch, they can just take their card out and
I don't know if parents would ever think that. Like I always feel like parents are kind of like don't realize that things are cross-compatible because nothing in their days was really that cross-compatible.
This is true.
I feel like they'd probably be more blown away if you could take the card out or want to put it in the other one.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just speaking out of my ass.
And then 4K 60 on desktop mode is incredible. We know today that NVIDIA have maximum, yes. And it also outputs into 1440p as well. So we saw a slide of them going through the settings, and it outputs into 720, 1080, 1440, and 2160p, which is 4K. And for me, this is huge in terms of people who have, fancy TVs these days. They're going to be able to see, and I don't know, that's you. And they're going to be able to see Nintendo Magic in all of its 4K glory as well. And we heard that today is the day of recording that Nvidia are the wizards behind all this. So they are using their GPU and a lot of their DLSS functionality in order to upscale their games using their AI in order to do that as well.
Yay! My favorite two letters in the alphabet. Exactly. Oh, I've got a dunk. Don't worry, there's a dunk in here coming. Don't you worry about that. No, this is cool. I too wish to look forward to playing with the larger analog sticks and C button. Give it a second to sink in.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, if you got that joke in there, dear listener, then put in the comments. Hey-o, I will know that it landed.
It's a much improved device. Weirdly, I don't care about 4K, whatever. But it's cool. It's a cool feature, and I was shocked when I saw the resolution paired with the frame rate, if that makes sense. Yes. I kind of expected the 4K, but then they were like, look at the frame rate, and I was like, Jesus. What did you do?
Absolutely. We should point out that whilst the device is capable of this,
yes, the game's
still down to the developer. Looking at you, Game Freak. He's still down to developer.
I saw a thing where it's like Cyberpunk will only run at 40 frames at a certain resolution. It's not like hitting the maximum cap. That's why I was like, it's the maximum. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is a tech demo that is a Switch 2 playable tutorial similar to Astro's Playroom on PS5. It is not free or pre-installed. It is a paid downloadable game.
Weird Nintendo decision. Why?
I think I kind of blue screened when I learned that information, where I was like, wait, because when I saw it, it was in the fine print, but I didn't read the fine print, and I was like, oh, cool. Like I would look forward to playing that, and me being the weird little freak that I am, it's like I'd love to play through this whole thing and learn all about the internal workings of the Switch 2. And then I learned there was you have to pay for it, and I was just like that was it. That was my whole reaction. I was like,
it's like, Nintendo, I get that you're a corporation and you like to make a lot of money. That's fine. Have you not made enough money that you can just pack this in with every single Switch 2?
Why? I'm not gonna I might pay for it. I am that freak, but there's not many. I can't see many people buying this. Especially when there's 50 something fucking launch titles or whatever it was. Which we'll get into. But yeah, it's a cool concept. I really like it. When I saw the trailer initially, I was like, there's my Nintendo that I know. They're my weird little Nintendo. And then I learned about it was a paid thing, and then I was like, oh, there's my weird Nintendo.
Interesting that we didn't see any Miis used in this. There were actual figures with humanoid proportions actually walking around on this Switch 2 environment.
Sims.
So, yeah. Yes.
They reminded me of Sims. Switch 2 game cards. The game cards are the same physical size and shape as Switch 1 game cards, but they're faster and red now.
And may or may not taste the same. Only time will tell.
That's they're faster and red. That's it.
Yeah.
Micro SD cards we already talked about. There's a system transfer between Switch and Switch 2 to transfer saves, digital games, and more. This seems like the two Switches have to be in the same room. Or was I misreading that? That kind of sucks because there's a big part of getting a new console is trading in the old console to get the new one.
Especially these prices.
Especially these prices. But it seems like you need to keep your Switch if you want to transfer your stuff.
Yeah, it's not just saved into
Can I not back up to the cloud? That's what the cloud's for.
Yeah, I guess if you can't export those saves onto an SD card and the SD card won't be read by the new device, I get
mean,
that.
I get that part. Yeah, like I suppose.
But in terms of it can't just be. I mean, your purchase is still tied to your Nintendo account. So, but you would have to necessarily.
But you know, there's going to
would
be
have to
some
download the games.
weird bullshit shenanigans with like Animal Crossing save data.
Yes. 100%.
Like, for example, like is the one that came to mind. It's just like, I mean, it's fine. Like, I don't sell my consoles. I have an intimidating tower of consoles to my right, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just making a molehill out of a microscopic molehill. There's a new Switch 2 Pro controller with 2 assignable back buttons and a built-in headphone jack.
All great stuff here. The one thing the Pro controller was missing was a headphone jack to begin with. Yes, there you go. And back buttons being available on this thing, I think, is a huge win. And it seems, all the consoles in line in terms of their quote unquote upgrade controllers all now have back paddles. I personally haven't used a controller with back paddles, so I'm not sure if I'd find any use case in that. But as I said, like, all of my playtime was with a Pro controller to begin with. If I do pick up one of these systems down the road, then I imagine I'll be picking one of these up as well. It should be pointed out that all your Joy-Cons and your Pro controller that you currently have for your Switch will work with this system going forwards.
Back paddles, the best way to describe it is, I'll use a game you're actually playing. In Elden Ring, if you imagine being able to manipulate the camera and dodge at the same time.
Yes.
And that's the kind of...
Because your thumb can't do
you
both.
don't need to move your thumb off the analog stick onto the button. I got a lot of use out of my Elite controller on my Xbox when I was playing Overwatch for that very reason. It is really cool, but only if you play the type of game where you're manipulating a camera, I would even say.
Yes.
And also needing to push face buttons to do things in the game. Big news next. Weirdly sandwiched partway through the Direct. Didn't see it coming. The launch date for the Nintendo Switch 2, not the price, just the launch date.
Oh.
June 5th, 2025. And I need to say, because this is going to be important when I tell the story later, that I jumped out of my skin a little bit when I saw the release date, June 5th, 2025, because number one, that's 2 days before my birthday. And number two, I get paid that day.
Yes.
These facts will be important later. Please keep them in your mind for the story I'm going to tell later.
It's foreshadowing, everybody.
This is what we call foreshadowing, which is a very important literary device that I use with great subtlety. Yeah, I think we pretty much nailed on. I believe I said something along the lines of it'll be one of the J months.
Yes.
Last week, and I think we were all sort of nodding along, like, yeah, June, July, something like that.
Yeah, I know we both got commentary on the price, so we'll talk about that later on, kind of thing. But yeah, it was very weird that throughout this whole thing, nobody mentioned a single number when it was to
honestly, this was the moment where I started not necessarily getting red flags, but sort of being a bit concerned, because I thought, oh no, they haven't mentioned the price. Oh god, what's the price going to be? And then I thought maybe they're saving that part of the end, because I did think it was weird that they just dropped the launch day at like 25 minutes into a 60-minute direct. So I thought,
usually
maybe
that's at the end.
Yeah, that's at the end. That's the thing you end with. And I thought maybe they'll end with the price. And I will just foreshadow a little bit more and say I don't think the price of the console is the problem here, Jack. Wow, that must have been a weird moment if anybody listening to this was called Jack. Specifically. I hope there's a Jack. If there's a Jack listening to this podcast, please get in touch with me.
That's it.
Because that was cool. So should we get into some cool stuff after a quick ad break?
Let's do that.
Hey, now you might notice a slight change in the advert. Maybe it's a different day that I can compare the last couple of weeks. I want you to know that the ADR is flawless. Absolutely flawless. You'll not. It's not going to be jarring in the slightest.
Please tell me it goes Sunday.
You'll find out right now.
We'll find out.
What's up, everybody? Amy here to quickly tell you about our live streams over at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. if you like listening to this podcast for some reason, then you should head over to our Twitch channel every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Whether it's watching me play something weird or old, or weird and old, watching Moody play some kind of Pokemon, watching Vitz brave their fears, or just watching us all shoot the shit, the possibilities are endless. Well, not endless, but there are a lot of them. So come hang out with us. Twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames Sunday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. And we're back.
Hey.
Flawless, right?
Absolutely flawless.
Absolutely flawless. You would never know I re-recorded certain sections of that advert break. But this Sunday, we'll be playing Lethal Company from 7:30 p.m. at twitch.tv/wordsaboutgames. We'll be trying to raise money for Safe in Our World. I said special effect 3 times on the stream on Sunday. It was a nightmare. And yeah, if we can get over the next milestone, that would be great. We'll then trigger the Mass Effect, ranking Mass Effect characters stream, and we'll start moving towards Vitz playing Alien Isolation with a heart rate monitor. And they have to get past the first alien encounter. Yeah,
I'm not just going to play 5 minutes then call it quits.
Ooh, this is too scary for me. Ah!
Yeah, you out to the title splash screen.
I'm in my underwear. This is too much for me. But let's talk about some fun stuff. We've talked about a lot of like specs and stats and stuff. Let's talk about games. Yeah. This is when Nintendo started talking about games. They started talking about a lot of games. Mm-hmm. Switch 2 has 3 types of games they decided to tell us. Number 1, Switch 2 games. Blew my mind that month. Type 2, backwards compatible games. So these are just Switch Spawn cartridges you put into the console and play. Type 3, Switch 2 Edition games, which are upgraded versions of Switch games on Switch 2. They gave us several examples. I'm just going to rattle through them, and then if there's anything we want to talk about specifically about these Switch 2 editions, we can do. The first one probably spoke to me more than any of the other ones. Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition, which adds everything they could think of.
Yes.
Mouse controls, voice controls, rumble. The camera, the Switch 2 camera. There's a mouse control carnival coaster. It was an assault on the senses. There will be Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions, which will feature enhanced resolution and frame rates. You are going to hear that a lot. I heard that a lot. Yes. I watched this direct twice. It is now seared into my brain forever. With HDR support and a Zelda Notes app, which will exist inside the Switch Online mobile app, with GPS navigation, extra audio logs, daily bonuses, expanded Amiibo support, and auto build sharing in Tears of the Kingdom. There will also be a Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition, which will include enhanced frame rates and resolution, and an additional story mode. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 2 edition, enhanced resolution and frame rates, mouse controls for improved aiming, 4K 60 frames a second HDR quality mode, get dunked on PS5, and 1080p 120 FPS HDR performance mode. I think I said performance instead of quality for that first one. And a Pokemon Legends EA Switch 2 edition, which literally just said enhanced resolution and frame rates.
Yeah. AKA, we don't know what Game Freak's doing yet.
Yeah, AKA, it might work.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. That's why we don't ever release that.
Yeah, it should be pointed out that some of these are going to be, I wouldn't say free because they're included with the price of the Nintendo Online service subscription. So both Legend of Zelda games. Yeah. And I believe there are a few others as well. And I don't think at the time recording, not that I've seen anyway, people have confirmed how much it's going to be to upgrade. So like on PlayStation side, typically there's a £10 upgrade to get the PlayStation 5 version of a PS4 game.
It's one of the few things we're kind of waiting on learning.
Yeah.
It's like, we know there's going to be a price. And literally as soon as I saw it, I was like, sick, I play Mario Party. How much is this going to cost me?
Yeah, and you're getting a new Jamboree TV mode.
Like Bowser Live thing, and it's like you can like put yourself on. And to be clear, I'm never going to buy a Switch 2 camera, so I'm not going to be able to play this mode anyway. But it is weird. It's like you can hold the things on your head and like do.
But Amy, you're using a USB camera at the moment. It might not be USB-C, but maybe there's an adapter you can use to put that into your Switch.
When the screen, you know, when you lock the Switch screen and when it goes dark and you see a reflection in the screen, I don't want other people to see that side of me, okay? That side of me scares me, when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying. But yeah, no, like it was kind of cool. Like I did like the integrations, but it did feel like they were trying a bit too hard to be like, please buy our enhanced Switch 2 edition, pretty please. And had something else, but it's fine. I like the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 2 edition as well. Just again, It was just like the good dog on PS5. 4K 60 FPS is unheard of on a console.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like wild to me that they are pulling that off. In theory,
Yeah, you don't need to buy a pro version of a console for $700
for like a fucking ridiculous amount of money, and it still can't do it.
Yeah.
The mouse control things is interesting because if there was one game I would use the mouse controller for, it would be like aiming in a first-person shooter, because like I've discussed on the podcast, that's where I'm most comfortable playing like first-person games. I need to know several things about the Joy-Con. Like, I need to know how the tracking works. I need to know how precise it is. And most importantly, I need to know what's it made? What's the bottom of that Joy-Con made of?
Yes.
And I'm going to be
like, scraping
it,
okay,
yeah, along my desk. Do I need a mouse map for this? Also, I'm looking at the place I play my like console games right now. Ain't nowhere comfortable for me to put a mouse down. Like, and I was thinking about this, like, okay, what if we were playing it downstairs in the main sitting room? It's like, there's nowhere anybody's putting a Joy-Con down to, like, play, even just, like, Mario Party, right? It's just, like, I'm thinking about, like, traditional living room setups. It's like, well, you're going to get your 85 geriatric grandmother to sit on the floor in front of the coffee table and, like,
exactly.
break a hip trying to get back up. Like, I'm not entirely sold on this yet. But not in a way where I'm like, that's stupid, but just in a way where it's like, I need to see how this works to know whether it's like a weird Nintendo thing that won't get used very much, or if it's like the next Wii remote.
Absolutely. And like, how cumbersome is it going to be when you're in mouse mode to use, say, some of the face buttons? So obviously using what would be shoulder buttons as your left and right mouse click kind of thing. But I saw the preview event and the coverage releasing today kind of thing, that people are still trying to use the face buttons on the actual tilted Joy-Con, and there's many commentary that it broke their brain, so it may take a fair amount of adjustment
because like it's like I'm looking at my mouse right now, and
it's like using the side buttons, right?
Yeah,
on your mouse,
which I'm used to because I know where they are, but also like my mouse is a lot thicker than a Joy-Con, right? It's like the Joy-Con's thin, and like
this is
I'm trying to wrap my brain around holding it, because I guess you have to hold it like a normal Joy-Con, but then put it on its side. But then that seems a little bit like it's something I just need to put my hand on.
100%.
Yeah. Owners of Switch, we talked about that. There was a mouse mode game showcase for a game called Drag X Drive, which is coming out in summer 2025. This was the wheelchair basketball multiplayer game.
Yeah, it looked very interesting. For some reason, the color palette is really muted to me.
It seemed really flat, right? Like,
yeah, like compared to ARMS, which was like a reveal title for the first Switch, and it's all poppy colors and all the rest of it. This thing wants to be dark and drab. I think obviously this is a wonderful title to highlight, people with physical disabilities and them being able to play sports and what have you. I think the actual gameplay, moment-to-moment gameplay of using both Joy-Cons to wheel yourself forwards and using the mouse is gonna get tired real quick.
Maybe.
And whether there'll be any like balancing between, oh, I don't want to do that, I want to use my Pro controller, and whether that's going to be like an unfair advantage against if you're playing against someone who is trying to like push themselves along with the Joy-Cons.
I mean, I don't know how this, but if you had to use the analog sticks. In that
but
kind
still,
of motion, but I don't know
time
how
will
it
tell.
works. It's one of those things where it's like you can't really tell. Like if you had told me in like 2004 that Wii Sports was going to be a sensational like hit across the world, I would have laughed in your face and said,
a generational.
No one is going to stand in front of their TV and pretend to bowl. Like, and I would have been extraordinarily wrong. But I'm interested to see how the mechanics of it work, and like see more people go hands on with it. Next up, we had part 1 of what I'm calling a 3-part third-party partner showcase. I said part a lot there. That was very strange. That was very hard. So I'll just rattle through the game names. We can like talk about what we want to talk about.
Sure.
So we've got Elden Ring Tarnished Edition 2025, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6, which comes in 2 versions. There's the standard version, and then there's the Years 1+2 Fighter Edition. That's a launch title. Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion comes out September 5th. Split Fiction, which is a launch title. EA Sports FC and Madden NFL. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 Summer 2025. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition, which is a launch title. Project 007. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, which is a launch title. And then someone needs to check to make sure Moody still has a pulse. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut launch title, which with new story content.
It was a lot, and as you say, there's like the part 1 or 3 that they did this for. First time EA Sports FC and Madden are coming to the platform, which I think is huge for third-party support. And Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 has a SpongeBob SquarePants integration in it as well,
Of course it does.
which is amazing. And then. Like it was the first thing we've seen of Project 007. We didn't see any gameplay or anything like that.
It was just the James Bond thing. With
the kind of title crawl with the gun barrel, as it were. But
I was going backwards and forwards in this in my brain. Did we already know this was a thing?
Yes, Biointeractive.
I was like, do we know it's a thing, or is it just one of those everybody knows but nobody knows kind of things?
The one thing I do want to touch upon here is that for Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition, they are incorporating Nintendo-themed costumes into this, which Agent 47 can wear. One of them is Luigi. So Luigi can go out there and be a Hitman in 2025. I'm just going to
I think I knew what they were doing there. Damn, I might have to buy that now. No, for the Nintendo costumes. I love Hitman. Hitman is one of my favorite games. Like, I own the entire thing on PS5. But and I was like, yeah, it's cool, whatever, more people can play it. But now you're telling me I could dress as Toad.
Yes.
I mean, that's how you sell me. That's how you resell me a game.
And who knows what CEOs you'll be able to take out as Luigi? Time will tell.
So the next game got a bit more of a spotlight on it. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. I really like what they've done with this because it's a prequel to it's the prequel of Tears of the Kingdom. Which basically tells Zelda's story in Tears of the Kingdom. It's like when I clocked what they were doing with that, I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I don't like Musou games, but that's cool.
Yes.
And it's coming winter 2025.
Yeah, I'm all for Zelda being the star of her own games and being able to play as them. And one of the things that really resonated with me with Tears of the Kingdom was that story that was told in the past and the Age of Imprisonment, as it were. And just hearing that music again with the saxophone, and it's one of the most incredible soundtracks of all time. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I went all in on Tears of the Kingdom. This next part was the part where it's like, no, I can't believe nobody checked on me to make sure I was still conscious.
We didn't know what time you were actually getting around to watching the direct.
I mean, you and Moody get a pass because I was like, no spoilers, I'm not watching it till later. Yeah. Everybody else, who I assume must have assumed I was watching it, should have checked for this next part. I'm like, Amy, are you still alive? Have you died? Because GameCube games are coming to Switch Online Plus expansion pack. We've got launch titles: Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX.
Yes.
Multiplayer games will support game sharing, which we talked about earlier. And we'll touch on this a lot. We'll touch on this and a lot more later. All GameCube games have a fully customizable controls.
Yes, so you can remap to your heart's content. And Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, yes, but not like this.
I know. I felt the monkey's paw curl. Because how many episodes in 2025 have I been like, Nintendo, please, I need Wind Waker.
Just once. Not like this.
Not like this. But like the next part, when I saw, so they teased future titles coming to the
Mm.
GameCube, Switch Online expansion pack, and like as it scrolled along, like I was like I almost went into a coma. So it's Super Mario Sunshine, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Luigi's Mansion, and Pokemon Colosseum. Now, apart from the fact that there's several games on that list that I am desperate to play, the
Hmm.
sum total of how much it would cost to actually get those games on GameCube is probably in four figures.
Yes.
So seeing all of these games and Nintendo just being like, yeah, you'll be able to play these for like £35 a year or whatever. I think that's how much
Yeah.
it costs. I almost got my fucking card out right there, and I was just like,
Just
"Here,
threw it at the
I want
screen.
one. I will
Uh,
take one Nintendo Switch too, please." um, good God, that's a hell of a lineup
that's a
of
lineup.
games. Like this, unironically, this might have been like the strongest pull for me to be like
Yes.
pre-order it. Like
Hmm.
was like seeing not necessarily the games that it's launching with, but the games that are coming.
Absolutely. And speaking of pre-ordering, I think there's some interesting things which are going to be happening there in terms of they're taking some efforts into kind of curbing scalpers this time around. So in order to well, buy it from directly from Nintendo themselves, you're having to pre-register and naturally have a online subscription, but also they're tracking that you played more than
Playtime
50
and
hours, yeah, and things like that. Which at least they're doing something. I don't think this is going to work. But at least they're doing something
well,
around
people
that
have
kind
been
of thing.
pre-ordering from August today in the UK.
Yes.
So I don't think like like I think their stuff's not going to end up in scalpers' hands, but I think a lot of August stock probably just did. Like if you know what I mean.
100%. Yeah.
Like either you can't do it. Like if Nintendo controlled all of the pre-orders the way they're controlling these pre-orders, like yeah, you'd probably beat scalpers for the most part.
Hmm.
But you can't do that. Like that's not practical in the real
Yes.
world. But speaking of that, yes, wireless GameCube controller is coming out alongside the Switch 2. It's launching exclusively available to Switch Online members who pre-order the Switch 2 via the
Yes.
My Nintendo store. It also has a C button.
Oh, you know, it's right at the top.
It's right at the top. It's right where I would expect it.
Yeah.
Um, we also got our second part of the third party partner showcase next. I'm just going to rattle through the titles again. Deltarune Chapters 1 to 4 is going to be a launch title. This is a big deal because currently only Chapters 1 and 2 are available. So this means Chapters 3 and 4 are launching on June 5th. Then Randy Pitchford scared the shit out of me. I don't know why. He just appeared on the screen and it actually scared me.
Yes.
Borderlands 4 is coming in 2025. Civilization 7 with mouse mode support is a launch title.
Yeah.
Switch 2 is getting WWE 2K and NBA 2K. Survival Kids, which is one of the few third-party games that isn't something that already has released, is going to be a launch title for Switch 2. Enter the Gungeon 2 was shown. Starseeker Astroneer Expeditions looked really cute. Is coming in 2026. Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition is going to be a launch title for the Switch 2. And finally,
Wake the
Final
fuck up,
Fantasy
Samurai.
VII Remake Integrate is coming to Switch 2.
Amazing. Now it's Final Fantasy VII Remake is releasing on every single platform, or has, apart from Xbox. I don't know what they did.
Get done on Xbox.
Yeah, but
You just see Phil Spencer's watching the Nintendo Direct and he's having a like nice time because he's like that guy that like doesn't care if Nintendo's winning. But when that Final Fantasy VII bit came up, I imagine he's just like, "What the fuck did I do?"
he threw the prototype of the Xbox handheld at the TV.
Son of a bitch!
Exactly.
Like the idea of playing some of these games in like on a bus or a train, like in motion, right? It's like because that's the promise of the Switch. And it's the promise of the Switch too. It's like you can play Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition on a Switch.
I mean, it might drain your battery in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
but
you might only get through the opening cutscene, but still. But no, like the Astroneer game did look quite cool. Like that looked
It
like
really
something
did.
that I would be like, oh, like I could have some shenanigans in this game. That looks like fun.
Mhm.
Um, lastly, the third party partner showcase, part 3, Sizzle Reel Edition. This was the hardest thing to try and transcribe because, good God, these went fast.
Super turbo mode. They went. It was
They were like, bam, 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 bam. And it's like, oh my God, like I expect this many games, let alone a sizzle reel. So we have Kunitsu Gami Path of the Goddess as a launch title. Hollow Knight Silksong showed up for about 5 seconds. It's coming out in 2025. And yeah, sure it is. Remember when there was an Xbox presentation that was like, hey, it's coming out in the next 12 months? That was 4 years ago.
Yep.
Believe it when I see it. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is coming August 27th. That game will have a Switch 2 edition. Goodnight Universe is coming in 2025. 2 Point Museum is coming in 2025. Wild Hearts S is coming July 25th. Witchbrook is coming out holiday 2025. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S is a launch title. Rune Factory Gardens of Azuma is a launch title and will come with a Switch 2 edition. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is coming holiday 2025. Star Wars Outlaws is coming out in 2025. Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition will be a launch title. Fast Fusion will be a launch title. Shadow Labyrinth will be a launch title. That will come with a Switch 2 edition. Raidu Remastered The Mystery of the Soulless Army will come out on June 19th. No Sleep for Konami Date? From The Somnium Files comes out on July 25th. Reanimal comes out in 2025. Fortnite will be a launch title. This is a specific Switch 2 edition of Fortnite, not just Fortnite, the game that we've all played. Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer will be a launch title. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam is launching in 2025. Tamagotchi Plaza is coming out on June 27th and will have a Switch 2 edition. And Human Fall Flat 2 is coming out at some point in time.
Those were a lot of words for a lot of titles. Well done.
Some of those titles were huge. Like, what the fuck are you doing, guys?
Like, do they have no semblance for the hype around for some of these games? Or did they think, yes, we do completely understand. However, we're just going to bung the Hollow Knight in there, and it's a blink you'll miss it.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you had shown me Hollow Knight Silksong in this direct, right, and you'd shown me like even a 90-second trailer, I would have been more willing to go, okay, I believe you when you say 2025. Like, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. The fact that it's in a sizzle reel for 5 seconds makes me go, no. I don't believe
footage
you.
Which is largely indistinguishable from any other bits of footage we've seen in this game.
I don't even remember what the footage showed. I just remember the name Hollow Knight Silksong.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not me throwing shade at the developer. Take as much time as you need. It's just one of those things where it's like, I wish at this point you would just not show me a year. Until you're ready to give me a release date, just don't.
A release date that you're actually confident in.
Yeah, a release date that you feel like you can actually hit. Like, this thing was on demo show floors in 2019. Like, I played it in 2019. Like, it was on the cover of Edge magazine. Like, it was in an Xbox showcase, and all of these things were 4+ years ago. But the rest of these games look pretty good. I don't want them to be overshadowed by my Hollow Knight Silksong.
No, 100%. And we saw a fair number of these games at the surprise Nintendo Direct that we had last week as well. But yeah, naturally, not everybody would have seen that one. They'll be waiting for this one for the Switch 2 news. And it's really cool to see those as well. Reanimal looks totally scary. And it's not... Is it even a console launch if you don't have a Ridge Racer here?
The original arcade version as well.
Exactly. I hope that somehow they get Kaz Hirai in here just to go Ridge Racer.
Well, you know, they got Shuhei Yoshida in a Promise Mascot Agency. I think anything is possible. Like,
all bets are off
for like voice acting talent these days. But yeah, no, it was a cool little thing. I need to play Kunitsugami because like it seems like it might be my kind of thing, and everyone keeps telling me.
I believe it's
really
available on Game Pass.
It is.
Yeah.
I need to find the time. Blueprints comes out in 7 days. So I'm kind of holding off on everything. Because whatever I start now, it gets dropped next Thursday. Yes. Like, I know it. So what's the point, right? Next up.
We had something rather special.
roller coaster of emotions. The Dusk
Uh-huh.
Bloods, a Switch 2 exclusive new from Software, directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki. I just want to say right now, because we didn't learn the next part of the information until afterwards. I just want to say right
Yes.
now, at no point did I think this was anything to do with Bloodborne. I told Vitz, like, I told Vitz, like, what I thought. I thought, holy shit, From Software's making a Castlevania game.
That's what we all thought as well.
um,
Yeah, it was only people who said, "Oh, they're taking Blood Bowl back from Sony." No, those stupid ass people.
but yeah, no, like I clocked it from the voice. I've had to listen to a lot of Elden Ring and Dark From Software stuff recently, so it's like I clocked the voice actress, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is From Software. And everything about the vibes as it went on just kept making me go, there's only one company that's making a game that looks like this.
Only one company's going to put a giant toad in there and give us some frog ass titties.
Hell yeah.
It's from Soft.
Transition gold.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is a Switch 2 exclusive, which they were very much like, this is only going to be on Switch 2. And I was super excited. Now you'll notice I used the term was there. Because then I found out what kind of game this is.
Yeah. So for those who are unaware, this is seemingly an 8-player PvPvE game. So predominantly multiplayer focus, where you're going to have like up to 8 heroes, for a better word.
It's 8 players fighting against the environment and themselves, like, and each other.
Yes. So what was interesting to me, obviously, Switch 2 exclusive, that's huge for Nintendo, is that I thought they would be getting Night Rain in addition to this, but we didn't hear a peep of Night Rain. Night Rain is the multiplayer Elden Ring.
Well, I think like
title.
They might get Night Rain. I think like if you're gonna hang your hat on something From Software, I think exclusive new game plays
1,000%.
better than hey, we're getting the game everybody else is getting.
But I thought it would be a nice change, or it would be a nice pay set to say, okay, in the first sizzle reel, we're going to give you Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. In the second, we're going to give you Night Rain. And then after the third block, we'll give you
the triple
Dusk
threat.
Bloods. Yeah. But yeah, this game looks really, really interesting. It's not the whole PvP VE aspect. I'm not 100% sold on, but
it's
the proof is in the pudding, because a lot of people have derided FromSoft titles before they actually get hands on and stuff like that. So I'm reserving all judgments.
It's one of those things where it's like I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt because they're From Software, but I'm not going to jump in to either of these games at launch because I like Elden Ring or Bloodborne. It's not a game that I would have been like I feel would have been improved if I was playing it with other people, if that makes sense. Like that's not my personal vibe for it. So at the same time as I'm like, pop off, like you have earned the right to make whatever the fuck you want to make. Like at this point, like for me personally, like it's something I'm looking at, but not going hell. Like I was just talking about Blueprints a second ago. Like I'm not looking at Night Rain or Dusk Bloods and going hell yeah, let's fucking go. Like that's circled on my calendar. Like that's the day I'm going to be playing that game. Because I'm not really that into that kind of thing.
Speaking of days, all we had was a 2026 date on this. In terms of it's not coming this year, it's not coming for launch. So yeah, don't go rushing out to your nearest store looking for Dusk Bloods on June 5th.
Sure. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition also comes with Shadow of the Earth Tree. I asked myself that question in my head. I was does it come with Shadow of the Earth Tree?
What does it include?
Yeah. Next up, Kirby Air Riders, baby.
Hell yes, let's go.
I wrote a monologue.
Sakurai-san, you've bought us possibly the greatest fighting game of all time. Now you've got free reign to do whatever the heck you want to do. Remember that GameCube game?
Yeah.
Kirby Air Ride. Bring that back.
I do. I'm such a weird nerd that I clocked it as Kirby Air Ride, like when it was still a black screen with the star. I was like, wait, are they doing Kirby? Are they doing Kirby Air Ride? Oh my fucking god! Like, it's another one of those games that's stupidly fucking expensive, like to the point where people should be jailed for making it that expensive, and they should bring the original to Switch Online while they're at it.
I'm down for all different types of Nintendo races, and this one looks really, really good fun.
Kirby Air Ride is a cool game. Did you ever play it?
Yeah, I did not know.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
There's different modes in it. And there's a mode where it's like you drive around like a map and like do stuff, like complete like challenges, like or tasks or whatever. It was really fun. I didn't play it much because I didn't own it. It was like a friend owned it and I played it at their house, so they brought the disc around. But it was a really good game. It costs like fucking 500 quid or some bullshit like that now. Like it costs 100 plus pounds, which sucks.
That's a lot of money.
So like they're making a sequel. That's great. Love it. And they ended the game portion of the direct with the game that I expected somehow. Donkey Kong, not necessarily like this specific game. I was just like Donkey Kong, right? Donkey Kong's coming. This is why I made that pizza bet with Moody about them not releasing a 3D Mario. It's Donkey Kong's turn. Donkey Kong Bonanza, a new 3D Donkey Kong platformer where Donkey Kong smashes everything, especially the C button.
Yeah, he does.
I might have been losing it a bit while I was typing this document up.
Then I added some notes.
Yeah, you did. Sorry, I'm just reading them. Nintendo really said, keep your Donkey Dong in your pants, DK. Those suspenders must chafe his nipples.
These are all factual questions that we need to get answers for.
This is true. And then I think we should get an appreciation going for Donkey Kong's tie. I like Donkey Kong's tie.
It's a neat tie, it must be said. Yeah, so for those who haven't seen the real trailer for this, this is the new 3D Donkey Kong game. Like, I think Donkey Kong 64, but like infinity times that, and all the environments seem to be destructible, and there's voxels going on left, right, and center. It's like, I heard it described as like Red Faction Gorilla, because it's Donkey Kong Gorilla, and it just taking down all the environments. Yeah, this game looks really, really fun, and like DK's got the new art style that they had in the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it seems to be carrying over across multiple different titles. In terms of Mario Kart has the same look and feel to.
It's not just like from a game though. Like I'm sure this came up like where everyone was like, they're making Donkey Kong look like the Mario Kart, the Mario movie, and I was like, wasn't it from a game?
If it is, I'm not sure what that is.
Donkey Kong. I'll find out. You keep talking. We'll find out.
But yeah, hopefully we'll get a new DK wrap in this as well. And there seems to be a ton of collectibles to get. And as I say, DK's out here and he's smashing these environments up, getting all different kinds of loots and things. And it really shows. They showed a few clips of some of the enemies you're going to face and some of the kind of antagonists that you'll see without the game for story beats. One of them is a female gorilla who's an absolute baddie for some reason, because reasons. And then Nintendo, I'm sure, will come out and say, please stop making horny art of our characters. This is the thing that happens.
You called it the C button, Nintendo. You are not innocent in any of this. Those doors look like vaginas.
They sure do, and the world remembers Bowser. Never
this
forget.
podcast still remembers Bowser.
Exactly.
Donkey Kong's new look on the Switch 2 was closer, brings Donkey Kong's look closer to the original arcade Donkey Kong. I knew I'd read that.
Okay, it's in like on the side of the cabinet. Yeah.
I knew I'd read that when the whole thing kicked off. I was like, I'm sure like someone pointed out it was from like a game. Not just from the movie. And even if it is just from the movie, who cares? Like, let artists do art. I don't give a shit. How's the gameplay?
Yes.
How many things can I smash? And the answer appears to be yes. They closed out the Nintendo Direct by revealing the hardware options in a really interesting way that we will touch upon in about 3.5 minutes. So you can buy the Switch 2, or you can buy the Switch 2 with Mario Kart World as a digital download. Now, you might think, ooh, how much do those things cost? And Nintendo went, you'll have to guess. One thing I did notice in the small print while I was rewatching the stream, the Mario Kart World Switch 2 bundle is going to be limited time production through fall 2025 while stocks last. Please stop doing this, Nintendo. It sucks. I hate it every time you do it.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll get to the pricing of games a little bit in a little bit, and this does seem to be I won't say cheapest. It's going to be the least expensive way to get Mario Kart World because the bundle it seems to be the bundle seems to be a more fiscally viable option to get this game. It's a digital download, and yeah, they pulled this stuff with 3D Mario All Stars, where it was on the eShop, and then they took it down because digital co-production costs. I don't know what. But yeah.
I don't know, but it sucks because like trying to buy it on the Switch is like really hard because like obviously it's got value because it's scarce, and it's like it didn't need to be scarce. Like, why? It's like that. The one Mario game I played was Mario 99.
Yes.
And they took it down, and it's like, why did you take it down? Like, let me play your fucking games. What is wrong with you? Although one of the games in that collection, I guess, is coming to Switch Online now.
This is true. Super Mario Sunshine.
They also announced a Nintendo Treehouse Live, which is April 3rd and 4th, which is today, the day you're listening to this, and yesterday, the day we're recording it. Which was a weird sentence to say. It just goes it's going deeper on a bunch of announcements. I'm gonna watch like highlights from it. Like you might have already watched it by the time you hear this. I just wanted to shout out that they used to do a lot of these, and I always really liked them, and I'm glad they've done it again. And I hope this is a sign of them doing more in the future.
Yeah.
And now it's time for everything else that we learned after the Nintendo Direct. I'm going to omit the capital letters that I've wrote for now. We'll get back to that. The Switch 2 launch pricing. So a Switch 2 console, and these are UK prices, and if you've got a problem with that, tough, that's where I live. The Switch 2 console will cost £395.99. The Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle will be $429.99. Again, it's a limited time bundle. Nintendo are also selling a region-locked Switch 2 in Japan for $330, it translates to.
Yes.
Do we want to continue going down a pricing list to the games, or do we want to stop here for a second?
We'll stop here for a quick second. Obviously, a lot of our American friends are more up in arms with the price, which I don't think is finalized.
$449, I've heard, for the
base Switch. As it stands now, but obviously the Trump administration is coming out with all different kinds of weird and wacky stuff in terms of 60% tariffs on units being imported from Vietnam, where most of these Switch 2 consoles are going to be produced. So
can I just
we'll see.
Make a point on that? Because let's assume the $449 is the price. I'm just going to assume that for the sake of argument. I always get very frustrated when we talk about prices because a lot of American people come to me to complain about me complaining about pricing. I don't live in your country. I am allowed to complain about certain things. Like, for example, the current, and I know this is probably going to change, but with the current exchange rate, I am paying in US dollars, if I bought a Switch 2 today, $518. So even if yours costs $449, I'm still paying more. Get off my back and accept that people live outside of the United States of America. That being said, you're in a bad position, and I do feel a lot of empathy towards you. I'm sorry that all of this is happening to you. And
to our Canadian friends out there, we are very sorry that you're having to pay $150 over the price of $450 because your next door neighbor is a bunch of raving lunatics.
Yeah, sorry about your neighbors.
Exactly. Let's speak about those game prices.
The console price itself, I'm just going to throw it out there right now. This is basically what I expected it to be.
Yeah,
I think we all sort of landed on 400 as like this is how much a Switch 2 is going to cost. So like seeing the console prices, I was just like, yeah, that's what I was thought. The game prices though, these are some of the ones. There's another. There's I'm going to go through two headlines here. So we got Mario Kart World will be £75 physical, £66.99 digital. Donkey Kong Bonanza will be £68.99 physical, £58.99 digital. Nintendo Switch 2 welcome tour is 990 yen, which translates to about a fiver. And then multiple US retailers priced the Switch 2 edition games at $80. So Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land have all been priced up in the US at $80. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is only $70.
Yeah, there seems to be some confusion about this because I think when the Switch Direct happened, I think a Spanish retailer was the first to go live with their prices, and MSRP over there was €90, and I think people took that and ran with it to say, "Oh, games and $90."
It's always a bad idea.
Yeah, it's interesting that there doesn't seem to be an element of consistency when it comes from Nintendo's pricing. Now, for those who may not know, outside of their own digital store, they can't command what people charge for their games. They can establish an MSRP, but then whatever the actual retailer does, they can do whatever the heck they want. They pay a wholesale cost, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's like Tears of the Kingdom was £70 physically when no one was selling that physically for £70. Like the £75 physical price for Mario Kart World will not actually be how much you would pay if you go to Argos or Amazon or Currys or anywhere else, because that's not how pricing works in the UK. It still says £75 though, Vitz.
It does, and we were all terrified that 2K was gonna release GTA 6 for £100, and all bets are off. Nintendo has that magic, and they can charge whatever the heck they want, and people will buy this. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was one of the highest selling games of all time, and I don't think this is going to be any different, but 75 is an enormous number. There's no way around that.
So I'm going to tell some stories now. I'm going to tell my story.
Go for it. It's story time.
It's story time. So I was watching the Direct, and we talked about this last week, and I went out, and I signed off. I think Moody directly asked me if I was going to get a Switch 2, and I said, probably not at launch. And then I watched the Direct, and I was like, that was a sick Direct. Like, there's a lot of things that interest me about the Switch 2. And it comes out right before my birthday, and I get paid that day.
We did the gamer lean forward.
It was I am gonna probably pre-order this console. We're in that territory. And then I saw how much Mario Kart cost. And then I saw how much they were listing I already own Jamboree. I'm not obviously going to buy the new version of the game. I'll just get the upgrade pack. But I saw how much that cost, and I thought about buying Breath of the Wild. Like, whoa, I can get Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition for how much? And it's not just these games. It's okay, so going forward, the big Nintendo games are going to be £68 to £75.
Yes.
Oh no! I have. Since games went up to £70 in this country, I've spent that much on a game once.
Yes.
I thought I nailed on to enjoy it. I did not enjoy it. It has put my back up even more about spending that much on games, because I was like, oh no, I didn't even like it. Well, I did. I didn't finish it. I wasn't compelled to get all of the way through the game. The game is metaphoric Fantasia. I'm not paying £75 for a game. It's not happening. And to be clear, I'm only talking about myself. I'm not trying to read the market or to speak for anyone else or speak for other gamers. I was at the ledge ready to pre-order the Switch 2. This pulled me back from the ledge because I thought I'm going to buy a box that I'm not going to buy games for.
Yeah, and I think the other saving point, for me at least, is that regulars in the podcast will know that I tend to buy new games at full price and then trade them in as soon as I'm done, kind of thing. So the net cost is around £15 to £20 here in the UK. With Nintendo games, that is not the case, because for most of the time, they are evergreen titles to me. They're games which I keep, and it's kind of Mario Kart is my most played game on the Switch with over 800 hours of playtime. And it's kind of Legend of Zelda titles which I had. One of them is now in your possession.
Sure is. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's kind of those are the titles which I keep, and I have most of my libraries is digital on the Switch, so obviously that takes care in terms of bringing games forward. But yeah, those are some mighty high numbers, and when you've got exclusive titles, you can do whatever the heck you want, and I think Nintendo are exercising that right. And
yeah, and like I don't want this to come across as like gamer rage at Nintendo. Like my issue is like multiple directions with this, and again, I'm just talking for me personally.
Yep.
Like one, I don't have the means to spend that much on a game. Like just flat out no. Two, like the reason it's stopping me from buying the console is Nintendo. Like I buy AAA games, on sale. For discounts, sometimes for quite hefty discounts. I bought Veilguard. I recently bought Dragon Age Veilguard. It was 50% off. Nintendo games don't go on sale.
They do not.
They also never drop in price. So the trade off with Nintendo, where the games were priced lower, I thought that was part of their social contract. It's like the games are lower priced than PlayStation 5 and Xbox games, because you basically pay that price. Like they might go on sale and get a $5 knocked off of them sometimes, but you're basically, that's the price you're going to pay now. That's the price you're going to pay 7 years from now when the console's at the end of its life cycle. And I made my peace with that. I can't make my peace with a £75 game that's never going to drop in price. I just won't buy it. I can't go to the second-hand market because that's not going to be much cheaper. I would just be caught in this thing of always wanting to buy the game and never buying it because it's not it's not financially sensible decision for me.
No, 100%. And even with a title like Mario Kart World, which seems to be all things to all Mario Kart fans, one of the considerations we as gamers tend to make these days is, okay, how many other games, plural, could I get with this £75?
Right.
And when it comes to like indie games or even like on a Steam sale or what have you, that list is enormous.
It is quite large. £75
yes. Takes you a long way, and
especially if I wait for a Steam sale.
Exactly, and I saw some posts on Bluesky knocking around today saying instead of spending £75 on Mario Kart, you could just play Baldur's Gate 3 again.
Yeah,
and it's a valid option.
It is, yeah. The other part as well is the jump is so big. Like physical games, and I think the MSRP is probably going to shake out. I think physical retailers will sell these games for about £60 to £70.
Yeah,
somewhere in that region. But let's just take the £75 number as like the number for now, and let's apply it to all of the Switch 2 edition games, because I think that's how I think those prices line up in terms of like the USD to the pounds. Like Switch games are £40.
They are
here. So Mario Kart 8
Tears
Deluxe
was 50 because that was a rare.
Tears was 50. That's fine. Whatever. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is £40. Mario Kart World is 75. You've almost doubled the price of the game. Like I can't justify that to myself. I tried. I really wanted this console after I finished the Direct, and I tried to justify it to myself after I was like reading the prices of the games, still thinking, damn, I could really get one of these though. And it's not in my budget to pay that much for games going forward. And my worry is that the precedent being set here is like, as soon as NBA 2K set their price to 70, everyone started doing it. My worry is that now PlayStation and 2K and Active and everybody are going to look at this and go, cool, we could set our games to this price now, and I'm going to get priced out of even more games. Now, the silver lining there is those games drop in price over time and go on sale, so I can still get those games. Whereas it's a little bit sad to think that I might be staring at a future where I'm priced out of being a Nintendo fan going forward. And if anyone wants to talk to me about inflation, inflate my wages.
Yes.
Before you come at me with that shit. Or like, oh, well, in the 90s, it actually cost $100. Yeah, well, in the 90s, I could buy a can of Coke for like 20 pence. If we go back to the thing, to how things cost in the 90s, I will gladly pay
And
£100 for a
Fredos were
game.
10 pence.
Yeah. I will, if everything else cost what it did in the 90s, like if I could buy a house
For like 25 grand.
for like 25
Like,
grand,
yeah.
I will gladly pay £100 for Mario Kart World. But that's not how the world works. Please join us, the rest of us, in reality. Like, yeah, I'm not angry with Nintendo, but I am angry with people defending Nintendo right now. And it's not anger, it's just sadness for me.
Yeah.
At that sort of realization.
It doesn't seem to get any better with the accessory prices as well, because all those would seem to bump as well.
Yeah, so the Switch 2 Pro controller is $74.99, which I believe is about £25 up.
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere, but I didn't see it in the article I was sourcing, so I didn't put it in. I think I saw the Joy-Con 2s are going for $84.99.
Yes, that is correct.
Which is a £20 jump. Depending on which Joy-Cons you buy, it might be a bit more. The Switch 2 camera is going for $49.99. The GameCube controller is $59.99, but again, that's only available to people who pre-order the console via the My Nintendo store. And the Micro SD Express 256GB card, which is Mario Kart branded, is going to be $49.99.
Yeah, to get into Nintendo Magic, you're gonna have to pave their roads with gold. I'm afraid.
Ice soup for the next few months.
Exactly. Might be the next few years.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like I could buy my new processor for the cost of like 1.3 Nintendo Switch 2 games. Nintendo released an expanded list of games getting Switch 2 editions, including ARMS, underrated game, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, also an underrated game, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and Big Brain Academy Brain vs. Brain.
I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to Pokemon.
Can't get worse. I said that last week. They can't make it worse.
We'll see. Game Freak will find a way.
It's a cool list. Like, I don't know. Like, we'll see. I like ARMS though. I'm glad ARMS got mentioned.
Definitely. We've spoken lyrically on this podcast about the performance issues in Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom. So for more people to play those in frame rates which don't tank when water appears or you ride your pony, then yeah, I'm all for that.
I'm all for games running well.
Yes.
Let it be known. There's some Switch 2 physical releases will only have a download key on the card. They're called game key cards, and I saw this being spread around on Bluesky, so I just want to say, no, not all Switch 2 physical games are game key cards. Some of them will have games on
They do this already.
Yeah.
And they do this already. So it's for titles which physically can't fit on the capacity of the Nintendo cart at the moment, or card, sorry. Then you get a download key for them. Like, say if Xbox titles are going to come to this system, like Master Chief Collection, you damn sure it's going to be a download key.
Yeah.
They're not putting all of that into a little card.
No. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're going to miss physical games when they go. If you think £75 is a lot of money to pay for Mario Kart, well, Mario Kart 10 is going to cost a hell of a lot more. Switch 2 backwards compatibility list was released. 141 games will have startup issues, including Dead by Daylight, Rocket League, Warframe, Doom Eternal, and it just said Final Fantasy on the article. And I was like, but which one? There are a few.
Yes.
47 games have in-game compatibility issues, including Fall Guys, Alien Isolation, and Overcooked. There is only one non-compatible game from Switch 1, which is Nintendo Labo.
That makes sense.
Games such as Ring Fit Adventure, WarioWare Move It, Everybody's 1-2 Switch, Switch Sports, and more will require Joy-Con 1s to control. So I'm guessing anything that requires motion controls is going to require an original Switch Joy-Con. Which, makes a lot of sense. The Joy-Con 2s won't fit in leg straps and whatnot. We've got a lot of Nintendo Switch 2 accessibility details, which I pulled from caniplaythat.com. Accessibility has its own dedicated menu in the system settings. System-wide button mapping is now available.
Hell yes.
This also makes it possible to swap sticks and change their orientation. Mono audio can also be enabled. Text size on the Switch 2 can be increased by 2 levels from standard to large or maximum. Additionally, text can also be made bold. Enabling the high contrast setting increases the contrast between text and UI elements and the background. Inverting the display colors is possible too, as well as setting them to grayscale. A screen zoom feature is also available, letting users zoom in on the screen by tapping the home button twice. Perhaps one of the most requested features, a screen reader makes its way to a Nintendo system. Enabling the text-to-speech feature lets the console read out text in the home menu and system settings. It also reads out information to assist the user, such as the position of the cursor. The screen reader is customizable by selecting different voice types and adjusting the speed and volume. Lastly, for the newly announced game chat feature, both speech-to-text and text-to-speech is available. This allows members of a chat room to fully engage with other members.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I think, again, it's another one of those. I think Nintendo have been criticized, and rightly so, for a lack of accessibility in previous consoles. And I think this is a huge step forward.
Yeah.
Button mapping is just amazing. Like, I think in 2025, there's no reason, like, system level button remapping shouldn't be available on every platform.
Absolutely. And this goes further than, making A and B is A kind of thing. This is for accessibility reasons, in terms of not everybody has the ability to reach all the buttons on a Joy-Con or a Pro Controller or whatnot. So yeah, being able to remap those is amazing. And the fine folks at Special Effect are gonna have a lot of clients who the Switch 2 will be a viable system for them, because they can remap all of the controls.
What I'd love to see next from this is, if Nintendo aren't already making something, is the Microsoft Accessibility Controller compatibility.
Yes,
with the Switch 2. I think that would be a really cool addition to like the Switch 2. If they're not already working on something of their own. Next up, sharing captures from Switch 2 will be much easier. You can send screenshots and video from Switch 2 directly to your Nintendo Switch app. Praise the sun.
Praise the sun.
Just
like you can on everything else.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Like, if I ever play this console, like, it's just nice. Like, I can do that with my PS5. And it's a fucking godsend to just be able to, like, then download it onto my phone on the app and just share it wherever I want.
Yeah, wherever you share it will get compressed to heck, but
that's fine. I can share it. That's fine. And then lastly, and I pulled this one out specifically for you. So this is from the thing that they announced of the 3 developers talking about the making of the Nintendo Switch, which I highly recommend you listen to. It's quite fascinating. But Nintendo considered calling it the Super Nintendo Switch. Switch 2 producer Koichi Kawamoto said, quote, "We even considered ideas like Super Nintendo Switch. However, Super NES, which came out after the NES, couldn't play NES games. Since Switch 2 can play Switch games, it didn't feel right to use the same naming convention as Super NES. Switch 2 is a new system with improved performance, but we'd like players who get their hands on it not to focus on the specs, but rather to think of it as the latest system developed by Nintendo." End quote. I know you were banging the drum for Super Nintendo Switch, and when I saw
it's
that,
such a cool name.
When I saw that, I was like, I'm gonna put this in just for Vitz.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, and I fully accept their reasoning. It makes sense.
I think you were like I've stated. I think you were barreling towards a Wii U situation if you called it Super Nintendo Switch. Not on the same scale. Like, I don't think it would have been like 13 million and we're releasing the next console in 4 years. But I think there was a danger of it blowing up in their faces if they did that. It's a cool name though. I would always admit, like, it is a cool name. Like, I wish we could be more creative with our names for consoles. Like, I stand by the fact that the next Xbox should just be called the Xbox 6. Yes, it's not the 6th Xbox, but it'll go right next to a PS6, and people will be able to say, "Oh, that must be the new Xbox if that's the new PS6." And it kind of sucks that they can't just call it whatever they want and have people understand.
That's
what
why
it
they came up
is.
with 360, right? Because they couldn't call it the Xbox 2 because the PlayStation came out with a PlayStation 3 at that point, and 3 is better than 2.
That's apparently how it works.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all of our Nintendo Switch 2 talk.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts before I take us to the end of the podcast?
Yeah, for me, my current circumstances is not something I'll be able to pick up immediately. For all those who are able to, I hope you have a blast with it. And at some point, I hope you to race you in Mario Kart World.
Yeah, but I feel like you just basically summed up my thoughts as well. It's like it's not something that I see value in for myself personally at this moment in time for the reasons that I've already talked about. But hey, if you pick up a Switch 2, have fun. Have enough fun for me as well.
Yeah. And thankfully there are so many other games.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Exactly. It's not like we're in a drought.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
All right, let's move ourselves into a quick OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the upcoming. Why have I suddenly been unable to do this intro? The last few weeks, I've just messed every intro up. Like, oh fuck's sake! Right, let's try it again. This is OpenCritic Head-To-Head. This is the game we play every week where we try to guess the OpenCritic average of upcoming games. Whoever guesses closest to the score at the time of recording gets a point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of a bunch of games, but OpenCritic isn't playing ball. But we do have one result in. South of Midnight. Vitz, you guessed it, we're getting 82. Amy, you guessed it, we're getting 84. Moody, you guessed it, we're getting 79. At the time of recording, South of Midnight has an OpenCritic average of 78, which gives Moody a point. And is probably something that I should add to my wish list, because I seem to be playing games in the 70s and enjoying them far more than games in the 80s. I'm noticing.
Yeah, I only got a slight chance to look at the reviews coming out and more importantly, read the words and not just the numbers. They were saying that the storytelling and the way the story comes together is absolutely stunning. The combat is where it falls down in terms of it's serviceable, but it's not great. It's not bad. It is what it is. But one of the options that you can do when you dip into the settings is that you can turn combat off. So any encounter that you come across, you can hit a button and then it'll give you the option to skip this encounter. And then you do, and then all the enemies are dead around you, and then you can go on. You'll still get the loot from it, kind of thing, but then you'll go on and you can still do boss fight encounters and stuff like that, which are more story based rather than just fighting the usual.
Oh, right. So you can skip like the padding. I call them the padding combat encounters. We're worried players are going to get bored.
Into arena, yeah.
We're worried players are going to get bored if they can't push buttons in combat.
But yeah, you can skip all that, and what it speaks to me is that this would have been better as a movie, but it is what it is in terms of it's a video game.
Right, here we go. Unpopular opinion time. I think more video games, especially larger video games, would be better served if they trusted their players more to not get bored, because it sounds like if South of Midnight did its story, did its setting, did its world, and was in like an exploration game, but had boss fights, but didn't have the combat encounters, the standard combat encounters, and then the developer gave itself more time to focus on the boss fights and make those cool, I think you'd be looking at a better received game. Like, there are so many games where you could feel the moments where the developers have added a combat situation to the game just because they think you might be getting bored.
Yeah.
And like, those are the kinds of things I hate. It's just like, no, I was fine. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to be stimulated every 2 seconds, game.
But Amy, the gamer has explored for 3 minutes. We got to throw.
They haven't fought anything for 90 seconds. Quick.
Exactly.
It's like I wish we were at a point where like we could just like instead of just having like constant action, it's like just focus on like a few really big set pieces.
Yes.
And I'll probably like you, Camo. I don't know about other people, but I don't know. That's my hot take for the week. I've just spent 2 hours talking about Switch 2, but that's my hot take for the week. Yeah, sure.
This is her freshest hot take.
This is my latest hot take.
That's it.
So the current scores of OpenCritic Head-To-Head. I'm in last place with 4. Vitz and Moody are tied with 11, and there is one draw. Moody hasn't got the message. Should I just say, should I set a time limit of being like, right, you've got until this time, and if you don't do it, I'm disqualifying you. This week, we're trying to guess the OpenCritic average of 2 games. They were both nominated by myself as most anticipated games of 2025. They are both in my Fantasy Critic team because they are hotly anticipated by me. I've played demos of both of them. Both demos were great. I really need blueprints. Do you think if I asked Aravel really nicely, she'd give me a code just because I'm excited to play it? Do you think that's how that works?
Yeah, I mean, you sent her a screenshot of a Google search. How do I skip forward a week?
Yeah, I saw that. I remember. Yeah, no, I'll review it on the podcast. Sure, I know I don't do review codes anymore, but I just want to play it now. Please. I'm dying out here. Yeah, so Moody would go first. He's not here. Vitz, what do you think? Blueprints?
I think this game is going to get an 84, please.
I feel like I've put my thumb on the scale of yours and Moody's impressions of this game by just not shutting up about it for what has it been, a year now? It's Moody's oh, I'm playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I'm yeah, but have you heard of this game, Blueprints?
Yeah.
Can I tell you about our Lord and Savior, Blueprints?
It's real good.
Coming April 10th, 2025. PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Game Pass. I am going to go 90.
Nice.
I think we're in Lorelei and Laser Eyes territory.
I hope
terms
so.
of critical reception. I mean, I have played this demo 3 times. It's fucking incredible, and it's rare for me to play a demo where it's I'm gutted it's over because I can't play more. And this is one of them. Most demos I play it, I'm cool, I can't wait for that to come out. This one is no, don't stop. How do I hack the game? The full game's in here, right? How do I hack this demo?
That's it.
But next up, we're going to guess the OpenCritic average of Promise Mascot Agency, probably the strangest game of 2025.
Yeah, I'm worried how this is going to get received. I think for the people who are going to vibe with it, they're going to really vibe with it. And then people are also going to say, huh? So for that reason, I'm going to go with a flat 80, please. 80.
I'm going to counterpoint you there to say that the Yakuza games exist.
This is true.
And this is very much in that sort of vein of Yakuza. It's definitely more weird, right off of the bat, whereas Yakuza kind of hides its weirdness behind its serious crime drama vibes, and Promise Mascot Agency is here's your first companion. It is a severed pinky finger. So it's definitely weirder, right off of the bat, for sure.
Yeah.
But this, the arc I'm on this year. I was going to say this season in 2025. It's the arc
Be
of
positive,
giving game critics too much credit. I'm you guys, you'll figure it out eventually. And the thing you'll figure out
your
is...
blood type is B positive.
My blood type is B positive. You'll figure out that all games are magical.
Yes.
You'll figure it out one day. There aren't actually that many bad games, but it's fine. You haven't figured it out yet. 85. It's I saw this post on Bluesky, and I liked and reposted it, and I wish I'd saved it because I want to deploy it liberally. It's, the scene from Peep Show where... Mark, I can't remember the actor's name, David Mitchell. And he's doing that thing where he's screaming, he's shouting really loud, and they've made the thing look like it's shaking. And the text was something all video game consoles have masterpieces on them because all video games are masterpieces. And I'm just that's the vibe I want to go for in 2025. That's the vibe It's Me, Amy K on YouTube is going for.
100%. It's like you always say, kind of thing. Video games exist in spite of the industry and the world that we live in, and it's a miracle that any of these things come out.
Even bad games are good,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you watch GDQ. That's gonna do it for episode 446 of the Words About Games podcast. Moody, it's your time to shine. We didn't rehearse or plan for this? Do you have anything?
Be good, be merry, do well. Don't use Adobe products.
High Five the Sky.
And
DaVinci Resolve is a better
yeah,
alternative
video editor.
video editor.
And live long and prosper.
Live long. Yeah, that's how it ends. Live long and prosper. She'd be so mad.